Today we're really going to show you, and we're going to get down and dirty, show you exactly what Time and Billing Exact is all about. As always, and I apologize in advance, but I would like to begin with a joke just to lighten up the atmosphere. And of course, this joke is going to be about project management. So the endless question is a wife or a mistress? And I know you must be asking, is she crazy? But yeah, that's a question that many people have. And in this case, there was a lawyer, a doctor, and a project manager. They were discussing the relative merits of having a wife or a mistress. The lawyer says, for sure a mistress is better. If you have a wife and want a divorce, there's a number of complex legal problems to resolve, and it'll probably be very expensive. The doctor says, well, it's better to have a wife because the sense of security and well-being lowers your stress and your blood pressure, and it's good for your health. Well, the project manager, you're both wrong. It's best to have both so that when your wife thinks that you're with your mistress and your mistress thinks that you're with your wife, you can actually instead go to the office and get some work done. That's the joke, everyone. You don't have to laugh. But tell me if it's not true. We're always workaholics and we decide to go to the office instead. So let's get started. And bear with me here. Let's see. Our agenda for today. We're going to basically review, let's see. We're going to begin with talking a little bit about SWK and our proprietary enhancements. We will then move on to a quick recap of our previous TBX webinars. TBX, as you know, stands for Time and Billing Exact. And then we'll jump right into the presentation. During our presentation, we will be focusing on security and navigation screen layouts. We will go through the process of creating an engagement, review custom rates and employee rates, create a task, and then join a day in the life of an entry clerk by entering time and expense via desktop and web entry. We will also enter time using the schedule entry. We will then go through approvals, progress billing, credit memos, and reversals. And last but not least, we will view information requested by management through Business Intelligence and Report Designer, pivot tables, and billing worksheets. If time permits, we will be taking questions online. Otherwise, if you wouldn't mind typing them in, we will definitely personally get back to you with the answers. So who is SWK? We're a Sage reseller and have been around since the late 80s. We're a gold certified Sage development partner, which permits us to use the Sage toolsets to create several Sage enhancements, including Mapadoc integrated EDI. Our solutions have been in production for well over 16 years. We currently have over 1,000 installations of SWK enhancements, including extended solutions. Well over 600 Mapadoc EDI implementations, and a very capable and dedicated technical team supporting our customers and partners nationwide. By listening to you and understanding your unique business opportunities and challenges, SWK's team is able to develop and deliver effective solutions just right for you and your clients. In fact, as you can see on the screen, our company's mission statement is to empower our clients and partners with knowledge, solutions, and tools for success. We take this very seriously. Who can benefit from Time and Billing Exact? If you're a legal representative, a CPA, a consultant, a Sage channel partner, or any business that bills customers for time-based projects, you know how crucial it is to accurately track employee time. Basically, any company that bills clients for time-based projects or services and wants to increase information accuracy and reliability can benefit from our new Time and Billing Exact. Now, the last time we met, we discussed the fact that TBX provides an intuitive interface and maximizes user adaptation. Upon its official release, TBX can be integrated with Sage 100 version 4.3 and above. The system will allow integration with accounts receivable, time and billing professional, timekeeper, and Sage CRM. Quick note regarding Sage CRM, the integration will initially be one directional, but we will then focus on creating the bidirectional functionality. Users will be permitted to run a parallel instance. So we understand if you're currently using a time and billing system, you don't want to just drop it and go on to the new one. SWK will provide a migration and synchronization utility for the parallel instance. We all know time is money, and we want to make sure employees don't waste too much of it. So what better way than to give employees access to time expense entry anytime, anywhere, without taking up your Sage user licenses. Users will be able to access web-based time entry for their employees' time tracking and project billing needs. Employees will be able to access TBX through WinClient. We also talked about the fact that TBX does more than just track time. It also includes exceptional project management features to help you run your business. TBX will allow you to record and organize your billable and non-billable time, providing you with a valuable database to monitor your business productivity and giving you priceless knowledge in helping your business succeed. For example, the project management task function will allow you to build your project by setting up tasks required to complete the project. You'll be able to key in time based on each task and schedule these tasks by utilizing the scheduling feature. An audit trail will be available throughout the system, allowing you to keep track of changes made and by whom. Monitor and manage your multiple projects by tracking the vital signs of the business. With built-in business intelligence, you will be able to analyze your data in multiple dimensions and implement charting reports. Paperless Office is something everyone has been requesting. It will inherit from your existing core ERP product. So invoices flowing through AR will have a paperless office functionality already preset. The beauty of spell check, I always need it, will be available throughout the system at all text entry screens. Ad hoc reporting, with TBX you can give a detailed account to your clients in a matter of seconds, literally seconds. Track hours, project income, invoice balances, and see your progress with contractors, users, clients, taxable items, etc., etc. All of our reports feature powerful filters and options for each report. Stored filter combinations to run commonly accessed reports, easy exporting to Excel and other formats. There is an in-place report feature which will allow you to open reports directly from a detailed screen without having to flex with the parameters. And I'm only touching the surface. So after the initial release, TBX will become ERP agnostic. We will be targeting integrations with ERPs that there's a market for out there. Now I'm going to say something that's very important. Please pay attention to what I'm going to say next. TBX software will be included as part of maintenance at no additional fee for customers who currently own any SWK time solution and, very important, are current with their SWK time solution maintenance. You heard me correctly. You will receive it at no additional fee. This is going to be part of your maintenance. So if you are not current on maintenance, please be sure to contact your reseller or me for additional details. I was a little hesitant about putting the pain points up on the screen, but it's always good to remind everyone just how bad it is out there so far and what we're going to resolve for you. So selecting the right time and billing entry program can save companies time and money and help produce accurate invoices every time. I'm sure at some point we've all been faced with the difficult problems of diverse billing rates, various billing methods, the need to create reports, the constant time-consuming double time entry with inaccurate timesheets, and on top of all of this, you're unable to keep track of remote employees. Not to mention, you couldn't even dream of having instant visibility into time on projects. TBX not only solves these issues and many more, but also increases the accuracy and reliability of billing invoices. Okay, so I hope everyone stayed awake during my brief presentation. I'm going to go ahead and turn the screen over to Robert so that we can go ahead and begin the presentation as quickly as possible. And just give us a few seconds here.
Patty, let me know when you see me.
I can see your screen, Robert.
Okay, we're ready to go.
So while he's bringing up the new time and billing exact, you can see your user will be prompted to log in, and you can set up a password or allow them to set up the password on their initial entry. Let's begin by going back in time to recap our previous presentation. We talked about user access. You may not want all users to have the same access to your time and billing account. With customizable user privilege settings and access, TBX works as a secure billing software by catering to everyone associated with your project and business. You can set items up by employee. That way, each employee views only what they have been granted access to. As you can see on the screen right now, there can be can approve, can bill, hide my engagement, hide my tasks, read, write only, create. There are a plethora of options out there, and you can set them up for each individual employee. You can also set up a template that you can copy to other employees, so you don't have to go through the setup every single time. Navigating the system, in the navigation menu and folders, you can basically add as many folders as you need for each individual employee. We are logged in as admin right now, which is why you can see everything there is out there. We talked a little bit about setting up the menu on the right side of the screen, which is your layout. You can set up different types of layouts. Different practices involve different managers who will require different types of information. This tool has a tremendous degree of control. You can also change the icons that appear on this menu. We're going to go into configuration now. This basically manages the configuration of the whole system. And as you can see, we're going into app configuration, which allows a global configuration setting for integration points. Sage 100 sets what company it's integrated to, ODBC, DNS, if you will integrate, and how to AR. In a parallel instance, you can set it up as a read-only. We're going to jump into, or we talked about, security role. And I know I'm trying to go as fast as I can here because we really want to jump into the new items that we'd like to show you. When you set up your security roles and how you would like to limit the different types of users to the system, TBX offers highly configurable user privilege settings as well as a safe and customizable user access. Once again, notice how you can choose to read, write, create, delete, or navigate, or limit from every specific field there is available. We're going to jump into security user just to refresh your memory. You can maintain and configure the specific users that can log in and set up their password. So you're looking at the basic user. We're going to be using the basic user today. And notice how you can allow them to change their password when they log in the first time. We're going to go ahead and jump into the user settings now. Govern an area where an administrator can take control of any employee system configuration. If you have a particular role where you want to set up a specific dashboard, for example, and you want to make changes to the screen for a specific group of users, you can do this here instead of changing each individual screen. We'll talk a little bit about billing rate. It allows for completely customizable billing rates per user and define an unlimited amount of billing rates. So here's a quick example for you. We have the name, the Sage 100 map, and the rate. And notice how we have several on the screen right now. So with employee level, you can define an unlimited amount of employee levels. This is basically the classification of employees with a rate specific for each class. And yes, you heard me correctly. It's an unlimited amount of employee levels. We're going to jump into divisions. Mapped to your Sage 100 divisions. If you're posting WIP to GL, you can set up a WIP account and a WIP offset account. This will also play a role in retainer billing. And you heard me correctly, retainer billing is available in TBX. You're also able to categorize your work codes through work code categories. Okay, so this pretty much concludes our recap. I hope I was fast enough. And if anybody wants to see more detail, please feel free to contact your reseller or myself. We'll be happy to go through a one-on-one presentation. Okay, so now let's begin today's presentation. We would like to begin by setting up an engagement. Now again, we are logged in as admin, which is why we have access to all of these different folders. It's very easy to set up an engagement. So as you notice, we chose the engagement from our navigation menu. We clicked on the New button to begin a new engagement. We chose a customer. You can also create a customer on the fly if needed. We entered a quick description and the engagement code. The engagement code can be alphanumeric. Choose your engagement type, your default work code, and now you can choose your default rate. We can go ahead and set up budget hours, enter a budget amount, choose engagement partner. This is basically the employee who's going to be managing the engagement. So if a manager is going to be supervising several employees with this engagement, they can keep track of it. And we can assign them as the engagement partner. All remaining fields are optional. If the work code is configured to use the engagement's revenue account, you would set up the revenue account at the GL revenue account field. And notice how, while we're setting up this GL account, take a peek at the right side of the screen. You can change these fields if needed simply by right-clicking and use your customized layout. Employees will be able to do that if they were given permission to do so. So we're going to go ahead and add one more field. And notice how simple it was. You simply click and drag. You can also remove fields simply by clicking and dragging. This function is available throughout the system. Anytime you can right-click and the menu comes up for customizable fields, you can actually do this. We're going to go ahead and set up now the employee rate. Oh, you know what? We forgot. Assign an employee to this engagement. Here we go. Notice how user-friendly, how flexible, and the level of detail that you can include while creating this engagement. Let's jump now into employee rates. As I mentioned before, you're able to set an unlimited amount of rates per employee. And notice I went to my navigation screen, I chose the employee, and I'm going to go directly to the rate tab. And you would follow the same guideline. To create a new rate, basically click on the New button. Choose the rate by clicking on the drop-down arrow. enter the rate amount, choose the hours unit. If you're using a work code that has a specific rate, it will default to this rate. You can now save and close. Let's go ahead and create a custom rate. Custom rate can be relative to the engagement. So we're going to go ahead and choose an engagement. Once we select the engagement, we're able to go to the custom rate tab. You're either going to set one specific for an employee or a level. You choose your rate method, enter the rate amount, and save and close. That's just how simple it is. So now we have our engagement set. Previously we had set up our employees with a different security. We're going to go ahead and log out and log in as a basic user now. Before we log out, can you please just show the screen and all of the menu? So once again, I just want you to notice the navigation menu, how full it was. Now that we're going to enter as a basic user, keep in mind the navigation menu, and you're going to see just how empty it is based on the security criteria that was set up for this basic user. As you can see, the navigation folder now only includes the home as part of their main menu. We're going to go ahead and begin time entry. So now we're in the life of an employee or a data entry clerk. We're going to go ahead and choose our engagement. Notice how the fields were populated instantly when we chose the engagement. Go ahead and type in the amount of hours or units. The rate was also populated instantly. You can use a description, include comments. There's a validate button at the top of the screen. So if you have any required fields, when you click on the validate button, it'll remind you of a field that maybe you forgot to fill in. This function is also available once you click on save and close. It'll validate it for you. Your employees will now see that there are specific steps to follow, specific criteria you're expecting from them when entering time, and they will be forced into filling it in.
It's also important to add that a company is going to be able to generate custom validations. So, for example, if they don't want to have specific work codes be used for specific types of clients, those validation constraints can be added in, and they'll see these messages that they have to make that change before the record can save. That's going to preserve the integrity of the data that's being entered in.
Thanks, Robert. So we're going to go ahead and now enter an expense. Notice how you decide whether or not to give your employees permission to enter time or expense or both. And it's as simple as changing the work code to expense, and we had already preset them. It can be a reimbursable expense or not. Here's the beauty. You can attach files. So now your employees can go ahead and scan their receipts and attach them to the expenses they're reporting. And not only that, but if it's an expense that, for example, you're going to be charging your customers for, you can also attach it for them. And this is how simple it is. The item is now attached. If you click on it, it will be open through PDF.
Or any file type.
Thanks. So we're going to go ahead and save and close this expense entry, and we're going to jump into the web entry screen. What I'd like for you to notice with the web entry screen is basically how similar, or almost identical, I would say, the screen is from your desktop screen. You have the same options that were preset for you at your desktop, the same security level, the same access to attaching files, to spell check, etc. And as you're typing in information, once you accept it, it instantly goes back to your desktop screen. So we're going to go ahead and save it and jump back to our desktop. Not that desktop. I think this is the neatest thing. You don't have to wait, you don't have to post, you don't have to update. Notice how the information instantly becomes available for you back at your desktop. And that's not the only way that you could enter time. There is a schedule entry that you can also use through your calendar. So take a look at this. I don't know, I think I'm talking too fast. It's just that I want to fit everything into this webinar today. But everyone keep in mind, each and every one of our webinars will include different information. Look at it as a training session. Our next webinar is going to include entirely different content. So make sure you join us. Here we are at our schedule view. And notice how simple it will be for me to add time entry here. Yeah, that's us for you. Presentation and then more work. Now keep that in mind, and when we go back to our standard entry screen.
Okay. 1 second. In order to get it to our standard entry screen, so we have all of these records coded. If we double click into it, we can see here that we have these records coded. We can flip through each of them and make sure that they're coded right. And again, these are designed for a very quick and easy setting of details. So as you can see, it populates, and you can add in additional details as well. So at the end of the day or during the day, you can plug your stuff into the calendar and you're good to go. At the end of the day, when you have all of your calendar items set, you hit this build time entry from schedule, and it's going to go out and it's going to automatically calculate all of your time entries for you and generate records. So if we go back, we see that we have our time entries keyed in based off of the information keyed into that calendar.
Thanks, Robert. Did you finish the schedule entry? Yeah, right?
Yep.
Okay. So one of the things that we also wanted to talk about, because many people have been requesting it, is the recurring type of entries. And it's very simple. Notice how he has several recurring entries in the calendar. That way you don't have to re-key things in every time. You know you have a project, you know how many days you're going to be out there. Notice how you have the different options as far as daily, weekly, monthly, range of occurrence, appointment time. And you can always go into these different entries and edit them. So if you really weren't there the 8 hours that you thought you would be, you can change that. And just add a little bit of detail. And all of this functionality, by the way, is available on the web entry screen. It's identical. So let's move on now. We went ahead and entered time. We entered expenses. Let's go take a look at the approval once again. We went through it briefly on our last webinar, but it's important for us to go through approval right now. Remember, approvals are not a requirement. You can definitely turn the approvals off and then just go on to billing from there. So as you can see, we went to the approvals tab. We're going to go ahead and approve all of our entries. one of the items, don't forget this is still in beta, one of the items that we also have available is the reimbursement approval. This will allow you to create a voucher actually. So let's jump back in there and we'll go through it together.
All right, so we want to do a voucher. Okay, so we got.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and do a reimbursement approval.
Okay, so we got that expense that we added in with that attachment. And we're going to hit the reimburse button. This is the reimbursement entry screen that's going to be used. And we just need to assign it to a person. So now that became a reimbursement entry, and we just need to hit the Create Voucher button. And if we go into Mass, we will see that voucher in there, ready to be posted.
And notice how we didn't have to go through an extensive process in order to get this voucher and move it into Mass or Sage.
Here it is. Then we got a couple other ones that we tested this morning along with our 107 expense here. And you would post it through as you would a regular voucher.
Yeah, you would just follow your standard Sage process at this point. And I know that I'm going to jump back, Robert, but we talked a little bit about the recurring time entry, which brings us into the progress billing as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you'd like, let's go through that one more time, just to show the progress billing all the way through.
All right, let's see if we get these approved here.
So we're going to go ahead and finalize the approval process right now. Notice how simple it is. You highlight each item that you'd like to approve, choose the approval entry.
And it's now sitting in WIP.
And now we moved it to WIP. We're ready for billing. And you can choose one item at a time at your convenience, or you can just highlight them all and bill all. So what we'd like to do right now is show a little bit about the progress billing and the progress engagement in order to finalize our billing. I think this was one of the options that most people asked about on our last webinar. Everyone was very concerned about this functionality. And notice how simple it is. So we're going to go ahead and choose bill type as progress. We don't have an invoice yet. Go ahead and choose the name. Our bill code. We can include details and notes. And save.
And then what we do is we hit the Generate Billing Entry button. And notice that we have a billing entry set there. So we continue on with where we go for all of the billing processes, which is billing entry. And
you're able to double check everything, make sure everything is okay.
And here we have that billing entry that's ready to be posted up.
And now what you can do, create it. Go ahead, Robert, you can go ahead. It's as simple as clicking on this button. Create invoice in Sage 100 is basically what that button said. And now
we've got a shortcut into billing entry right there. And we can see that our bill is there. Missing
So
a
notice
line.
how he clicked on the button that said Open Invoice Entry in Sage 100, and instantly accounts receivable was available for him, and the
All
invoice.
right, I made a slight mistake. I didn't put an amount on that progress bill. So if we actually go back to that invoice, we're going to see that. So I'm going to. So yeah, I put a zero amount in there. Didn't mean to do that. I should have put in 2,000. So I'm just going to do a new one here. Progress
It's good
bill.
practice for everyone. Notice how simple it is.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert is a perfectionist. I'm kind of just going through the demo and making sure everybody sees the screens. But it's a good thing. We also have, while he's entering this information, we have a reports button above that shows the different options as far as the audit trail. So notice how straightforward the screen is, very clean, and the screen is going to be as clean as you want it to be. Don't forget that you can always right-click and include additional information and fields that you might need. We're going to go ahead and accept this.
I'm going to log in as I've been before.
Yeah, I think it'll be easier as admin. Okay. So Robert, can we go to the credit memos and reversals? That can just stay that way.
Yep. I just want to show that we have that invoice in with the actual amount, or do you want to just move on?
Well, let's show the invoice because it was a question. Everyone wanted to see the invoice process all the way through to Sage 100. So we're going to go ahead and open invoice entry in Sage 100. And remember, now the paperless office functionality will kick in because you're going directly into accounts receivable. There's the invoice.
Now we have the invoice with the correct amount.
Okay.
And we go through our registers as we normally would with any other mouse process.
If you want to, yeah, if you want to go ahead and go through the register so that we could credit that invoice, that would be ideal. We have credit memos and reversals available. And I think this is the part that takes the longest, the whole update. So while that is happening, I'd like to just point out the fact that terminology can be customized throughout the system. So we're calling a client a customer, or an employee can be the consultant. It's a universal change. You can definitely get that done. Spell check, once again, is available throughout the system as well. There will be an integration to Outlook eventually. So we're definitely working on that. Remember now with the initial release, it will be integrated with Sage 100. However, we are targeting making this product ERP agnostic. So for all of those resellers out there of other ERP systems, please keep this enhancement in mind. And if you need additional information, feel free to contact me for more details.
All right, so what I have in front of me is a standard bill type that we're going to reverse. So this was billed out. We just simply hit the reverse this invoice button. And when we go into Sage, we're going to see that credit memo sitting there. And once that credit memo is posted through, those items will be back in WIP, and you'll be able to make those changes. So
that's how simple it is.
So the longest part is going through the registers. So you've already seen the registers post through, so we won't waste any more time looking at that.
I'm with you. Let's jump into the business intelligence.
Okay.
This is very exciting for us. So with business intelligence, we're going to begin with the predefined analysis. We went to the client in the navigation screen. Choose a client, and we go straight into time analysis. Notice the tabs for the administrator have changed. You can drag columns and view reports. Using the pivot tables will allow you to view your time in several different perspectives. How much time have I spent on a client, for example? You can break it up by month, year, put months side by side. It's entirely up to you. Several different reports you can create from this tool. There are also additional fields that can be dropped into this pivot. Notice how everything is drag and drop. And notice how you have the option to show charts as well. We have all of the options listed for you in the pivot grid.
Are we going to speak about the wizard, or do we want to save that for another time?
I think we should save it.
Okay. Lots of features in there, but there's only so much that we could fit in within an hour.
And just so everybody knows, when you click on Invoke Wizard, there's a whole plethora of BI options to conditionally format groups, modify print layouts, etc. It basically allows you to customize this analysis tool to your specific business requirements, and you can do analysis off of any data entity. So we will go into more detail on our next webinar, but for today we're so limited on time that I'd really like to jump into setting up the reports.
Okay. So we do have this pivot table set at the client level. If you go into an employee, you see the pivot table relative to the employee. So same sort of drag and drop stuff, but you're only looking at employee data. We also have it at the engagement level, and we also have it at the department level.
And once again, the flexibility is tremendous. So if you prefer to work typically using the engagement icon or the engagement level, then you can definitely put that on your menu and nothing else. It can be as convoluted as you want it to be, or it can be as clean as you want it to be. The layout is entirely up to you. We're going to go ahead, and you notice that when you went to the reports folder, the menu changed. We're going to go ahead and click on the analysis icon. So if you want to do analysis of something that is not preset on the pivot screen, you can create the report from here. When we were looking at it on the engagement level or client level, there was some preset items. Say that it's just a general item that you'd like to look at. You can go directly to the reports menu, and you're able to create the report from there. We're going to go ahead and generate a WIP report.
Okay. I just wanted to emphasize here that you could put in search criteria to narrow the results down to something specific as well. So there's a lot of flexibility in here. So if you don't have the business intelligence that you need anywhere else in the system, you're definitely going to be able to get it here. And you're going to be able to define as many analysis reports as you need directly here, and also be able to embed them into dashboards as well.
So notice how he's going to go ahead and choose the WIP in order to create our WIP report.
I'm just going to show the end results there, but we'll go through how we can generate this report from scratch. You simply go to New, and it's going to bring up a wizard for you. We'll call this WIP 2. You can run reports off of any data entity in the entire system. In this particular case, we're going to select time detail. You could create standard reports or label reports. So if you need to get customer address labels sent out, you can do so. So we'll hit next, and it's going to ask us for a bunch of fields that we want to get into the system. So
notice on the report wizard how you have the different available fields, and then you decide which fields you'd like to display on the report, and it's as simple as that. Are you going with the client, the engagement? What information exactly do you need on that report? You have the transaction date, the extension.
Let me get hours in there as well. I don't think I have hours.
There we go with hours. And now that we have our
we're going to make this landscape, and we're going to left align everything so everything falls in real nicely. All right, so we hit next. That's going to, then we have a few templates that we can choose from in terms of how it's going to lay out. We'll hit next.
Notice the simplicity involved in creating this report. You don't have to be a programmer to actually create it. You simply have to know exactly what type of information you're looking for, choose the description of the information, and you're done.
So very powerful.
It literally took you 2 minutes to create this report.
Yeah, there's a little bit more to it. What's going to happen when we print this report, we're going to get some gobbledygook in the client and the engagement. We want to get the actual names of the client and engagement. So I'm going to look at the fields level. Here's the fields list. You do not need to finagle with any links as you would in Crystal reports. The links are already created for you and are readily available to you. And in order to get into those linked records, you just have a hierarchy in here, and you can expand into infinitum on those links. So what we're looking for is customer name. Look about that in there. On the engagement level, we are going to look for the engagement description. Engagement description. And we'll also do the work code.
It's that simple, folks. That's all it takes. You do not have to go to the back end anymore and find out what field it was located in, what source journal, nothing.
Yeah, reporting has been made very, very simple for you. And if needed, if for this particular report, you can specify filter criteria here. But there's some other tricks that we can do with this as well, where we can use the entry screens to formulate the filters. So let's just save this and let's see how that looks.
So now we're going to take a peek at the report we just generated.
All right. So notice how I said we're going to get some gobbledygook in these areas up here. I noticed that I'm getting the gobbledygook in the employee. So I also need to bring the employee name in there to get rid of that piece right there. I also need to lengthen the client so everything lines up. But as you can see, we've gotten a pretty decent report in just a matter of minutes. And we could tweak this to our heart's content as to...
Excellent. So let's jump into the billing worksheets.
Okay. Well, the billing worksheets, we're So what we have for the billing worksheets, I have two types. I got billing worksheets and then one that's grouped. So let me go into this record, and what I really want to emphasize here is what's called an in-place report. So with this, we're going to be able to select the data that we want to put into this billing worksheet and print it. So let's go to a place where we're going to see that in action. That's going to be our billing screen. So we have all of this billing stuff. Let's say we want to do just billing for Canyon Ridge, or just this chunk of Canyon Ridge. That's the only thing that I want to do the billing worksheet for. I can, with this drop-down, show in reports box here, I can select billing worksheets by group. And that's going to take, and it's going to put all of the, only the records that I've actually selected into that billing worksheet. Or you could just simply select everything and put it into the report.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is that simple. You can believe it. It's a click away. Take a look at the billing worksheets right now. Include as much information as you want or as little information as you need. This is something that many, many people requested, and it's now available within a click. So with that, we are going to conclude the presentation. Adrian, if you can send it back to us. I don't know if you were going to do any surveys or tolls today, but one of the questions I have for everyone is if you would like to attend Summit, and if so, if you are interested in viewing a one-on-one presentation of the new time and billing exact. As you're getting that set up, I do want to mention to everyone the other SWK enhancements that we have to offer. We are very proud to be one of the longest standing and most experienced master developers in the SAGE channel. Our modules truly do enhance your SAGE 100 ERP system, no matter what your business does. I'd love for everybody to check out what SWK Enhancements can do for you. On the screen, you will see the list of enhancements that we currently offer. We have the apparel matrix, bill of lading, mass transit, multi-bin advanced distribution, and by the way, we are offering 1 hour of free time and billing exact training to all of today's attendees. Please send me an email, feel free to call me, and I will be happy to put your company name and your information on the schedule. Keep in mind, every webinar will include different type of information regarding TBX. Mark your calendars. Our next new time and billing webinar will be held on Wednesday, June 25th at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. There will be a special summit promotion for attendees to that webinar. Additional information regarding TBX is available on our website, which you can see on the screen. Make sure to visit us at Summit. We will be at booth 922. Before we conclude today's presentation, I want to make sure to mention MapAdoc, which is SWKDDI solution. MapAdoc is ideal for companies who are about to use EDI for the first time. MapAdoc is fully integrated with Sage 100, Sage 500, and X3. Please feel free to contact me for additional information regarding any of the SWK proprietary enhancements. I'm going to leave our contact information on the screen for you. And Adrian, I think we have a couple minutes to take questions.
Perfect. And I'm going to launch just one poll, everybody. If we could answer this poll, that would be appreciated. Are you interested in learning more? If you could just answer that one question, and I will read off a few of the questions that were asked during the presentation. And we just have one question, Gary. Yes, we will provide a recording. This presentation was recorded, so we will send you the follow-up. I'll put a follow-up email together with the PowerPoint and the contact information of the presenters so everyone can reach out to them accordingly. Patty, how does the product compete with Sage's mobile solutions?
I honestly haven't done a comparison, but that's a really good question to address on our next webinar.
Okay. And I use Mass 90 rather than Sage 100. Will the screens look the same?
We're currently yes, we're currently actually pointed to a Mass 90 instance. Really, they're both the same product. It's just how the Mass 200s for a larger networked company.
So it's just a name change, essentially.
Yeah, the answer is absolutely yes.
Is there a PDA entry available? Which operating system? And thank you, Free, for that question.
We have the web client that's open for remote entry, and that's going to be used on mobile devices.
And what do client invoices look like? Where are they printed from? Are there customization capabilities?
So the invoice, I'm sorry, Robert, go ahead.
No, I'll let you go ahead, Patty.
I was just going to say the invoicing will inherit from your ERP system. In this case, we were working with Sage 100. And with accounts receivable, you know you have Crystal capabilities, so you can customize the invoices at your convenience. We simply take the information that you entered into Time and Billing Exact, and we push it into accounts receivable for you, and then you take the information and continue with your standard Sage accounts receivable invoicing process.
And will this integrate with the sales order module, or is it AR and AP only?
Sales order soon. We do intend to import into the sales order module. We just don't have it as of yet.
And what are the system requirements to use Time and Billing? We have some older computers still running older versions of Windows.
You do need to run the .NET 4.0 on it. Now remember, if you are going to be able to utilize the web client, and the web client is going to be able to work on any machine that can render a web page. So really, all of those machines are going to be fine. In terms of the desktop client, you might run into some problems with really old machines. I think anything below Windows XP is going to be out of the question.
And can you bill out the expenses? Thank you, Joseph.
Yes. They bill out as they should. So as you enter them in.
Those are really good questions, by the way. If we have any more questions, Adrian, I'm happy to answer them if we're not able to finish up or take up the time today.
Well, we got to all the questions. Thank you, everybody, for asking your questions and attending today. Thank you, Patty, and thank you, Robert, for giving us this helpful presentation.
Thank you, Adrian, and thanks everyone out there. Thank you very much for joining us, for giving us your time. We would definitely love to hear from every single one of you. If you have any suggestions, my contact information is on the screen. Please do not hesitate to contact us, and take care. Have a wonderful afternoon.
All right, everybody, take care.
Thank you very much.